Welcome back to the Underwater Tribe podcast. Today we've got both Luca and myself, Mike, in studio. And today's special guest, we have underwater photographer and videographer, Alex Lindbloom.
Thank you, guys. It's great to be here.
How are you, Alex?
A little nervous, but good.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
You ever done a podcast before?
I haven't. No. I listened to my first one the other day with you guys with the Mark Erdman, and then holy shit.
Yeah, some quite big shoes to fill in after Mark.
we are pressuring you into a follow-up.
Actually, we are very pleased that you're coming over here today because we had quite a few cancellations after Mark podcast and people start to freak out.
Yeah, well, I've already had my beer, so I'm good to go.
Yes, and if you haven't seen Mark podcast, check out our playlist.
So, question for you.
Yes.
Maybe some people in the audience know who you are, maybe some don't. But
probably not.
Tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, history, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm from the United States. I grew up in Idaho, and then also a little bit in Washington. That's where I went to university and spent all my summers and holidays up there, Washington State. But then I've been in Asia for the last 10 years now, mostly just doing film and photo. For the last 5, I was with Mermaid, who you guys do a lot of your trips with, and that's where we all met. And so, yeah, I've just been based in Indonesia for the last 5 years now, pretty full time doing film and photo. You
just mentioned Mermaid. Mm-hmm. You probably pretty much had one of the most sought after jobs that anybody that's serious about photo and video, especially as a younger person, would ever want, and that's full time getting to travel around on a boat.
Yep. Nice boat.
Throughout Indonesia, Komodo, Raja, Band, all that stuff, filming, photo, no real worries about, having to chase people around underwater. How was that?
Yeah, like you said, it was probably one of the most sought after. I feel like it's one of the best jobs that you could ever do as a film or photographer, especially if you don't really have a lot of experience in the beginning. I didn't really know that much in the beginning. I knew the basics, but not the whole, just sort of let me be more creative and really sort of let me get a foot in the door, I guess.
And how did you get there? Did you self-learn or?
Yeah, it was mostly just self-taught. I did an internship before with Scuba Zoo, and so that was really good. Studying with, not really studying, but just learning from Jason Isley and Roger and all the other guys at Scuba Zoo. That was really influential in sort of more the professional side. Before I was just doing sort of backpackery, fun, goofy videos with the rewinding the drop-ins and everything.
Yeah,
and,
right.
How long was your training with them?
3 months.
3 months training. Okay, so quite intense internship. Or?
Yeah, it was a lot of doing stock footage and everything, sorting through, and a lot of time in the office. But I think it was actually really good because you're just reviewing their clips over and over from these guys who are really reputable cameramen, and so you kind of learn the movements, what to do, how long, when to start, when to stop, composition, that sort of thing. It wasn't like a classroom sort of setting. It was more just in the workplace.
Right, and seeing the way they do it.
So that was really good. That kind of got me set off in, I guess, a more professional direction. And then once I got on with Mermaid, I could use that to sort of create my own style, and then really start to study on myself. Like, I had the theory before, I guess. Scuba Zoo was good for the theory, and then I got to put it into practice on Mermaid, and just repetition. If I mess something up one week, I could go back the next week and really do it. And
that's the best way.
I would always pick for different seasons, every season, coming into the Komodo season or coming into the Raja season, I have like this certain sort of goal. So like Raja was always mangroves, get the mangroves, or, get a reefscape with a manta in it. Don't just go for like the manta belly shot, get something, the combinations,
And how did you get to the Mermaid? It was word of mouth, or you saw like an announcement somewhere?
Word of mouth, yeah. It's like most things in the diving industry. It was just sort of who you know, and I happened to have a friend who knew a friend on the boat, and then we were moving back from Panama, trying to get back into Indonesia, and she's like, oh, the PJ, who was the former I was filling in for PJ, who used to work for Mermaid for a long time. I was just filling in for him, got a freelance position, and then eventually one of the videographers quit, and then they offered me the position.
Did you work before that as a dive instructor? Are you a dive instructor?
No.
Okay. So you'd never worked as a guide or
I did one season as a guide in Thailand.
Okay.
I did my dive master training, worked for in Thailand. After that, I went to the Gili Islands, did I guess the off season for Thailand in Indonesia, working there, just guiding, backpackery fun sort of party lifestyle, and then back to Thailand to do one more season of guiding. And then I got a little Canon G12, and I was like, I can't guide anymore.
No, put a camera in your hand. It's actually, you say, oh, I could do this for a living.
Yeah.
When you're guiding, it's like, you get a couple of seasons out of it, and that's about as much as you want to do.
Yeah, so the camera was a really good thing. And in the beginning, I wasn't sure if it was going to be a career or anything. It was just something fun to do at the time. Like when I'd left home, I said I was going to just stay for a year or two. But yeah, that's been 10 now.
Yeah, I understand.
So yeah, that's how I started, and then just the ball sort of keeps rolling. Probably similar way for you guys, no?
Yeah, exactly. You say, oh, can I leave home for a year or two, and now it's 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Home? I don't know. Home.
Got cats and dogs and everything.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you've been 5 years on the Mermaid.
5 years. Yeah, 5 years. Almost exactly 5 years. From the day I started to the day I quit.
Okay, so we just talk about it. Sounds like, like the dream job, and of course it's like a very exciting job.
Yeah.
You get to see like some of the best things in the ocean,
Yeah.
in every region that you're going in Indonesia, because you spend the time over there. But probably it's not that easy at all, is it? Like to be on a boat based on a boat for such a long time.
Yeah. No, I mean, luckily Mermaid's a really nice boat, and so we had a nice accommodation on board. The food's good. The business is a really reputable business. So we were really well taken care of on board. And of course, there's no better place to be a photographer, videographer who's learning. And then you have Rajampat, Bandasi, Komodo, Allure. So you have like the best of wide angle, you have the best of macro. You're not just doing macro, you're not just doing wide angle. You have to really mix it up. But then, then the lifestyle after a while kind of takes kicks in, yeah. It wasn't unbearable by any means. It was just.
What was your schedule on? How many trips? How long would you be on the boat before you actually get some time off?
You do normally four trips on, 1 trip off. So that worked quite well. That would keep you going. The Raja season was a little bit longer. You'd maybe do 2 months on. So the trips are longer in Raja. So you do 4 or 5 trips, and you get a trip or 2 off. So you have a solid 2 weeks of time to play with, which actually works for me. I like to really just sort of put my head down and work, and then have a larger chunk of time to play with. Then I'm not really good with the weekend. I kind of squander it.
Yeah,
so I like the longer periods of time where you actually have time to travel. So it's really awesome because we'd get to just go to really fun places on your time off. We didn't have any house, or we didn't have any sort of roots anywhere, so we could, we go to Japan, we go to Sri Lanka, we go just get a villa in Ubud and watch Game of Thrones, and it was awesome.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, it's coming up soon. Yeah. So being on the boat, as you were saying earlier, you've got an opportunity to see so many things, as you were saying. I want to get this particular goal, I want to get that particular goal, but it also, because you did so many years, like, you see the mobulas going after the reef fish in Raja, and it's like, oh, we missed it this year, but maybe I'll get it next year.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these big things, like iconic things, like amazing manta dives at Manta Alley, or the sardines and the mobulas in Raja, you must have some amazing video of both of those things.
Mantas for sure. The mobulas, like, it's really. I only had one. Every year we'd see a little bit. There was one year where it was super hot, where we had them almost every trip in one, on that one island, Tutri, where you had them recently, Luca. Yeah. But one year, it was super hot. And, you have 20 mobulas coming through, and the sky goes black, and it was super cool. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of what drives you.
Yeah.
You might have a season where the mobulas might not come through. You might get 3 or 4, but you're like, okay, next season. And then that's what kind of. Yes. When I first signed up, I was like, okay, I'm just going to do 1 year. And then I was like, no, I can't. After a couple months, like, no, I got to come back. And it's going to come back. And it's those sort of moments that drive you, I guess, to keep
absolutely
sort of staying on and
keep going.
Is there any thing, you know, you were doing the whole season thing? You're like, oh, I really wanted to get this, and I never ended up getting it.
Well, when I did the mobulas, I had a big, like a rock on my sensor or something. So,
oh no!
You know, you're shooting.
It's difficult.
Yeah,
I had the same, man. I was
that.
over there. I had like a spot, you know, like.
Yeah. Like the one time, you know, I was like trying to do the sensor cleaning on the camera. It's just like, oh.
No.
Luckily, it was in a darker spot, and so it was not as noticeable. But it's like, what is that giant? Is like a fly on my sensor? What's going on?
Yes.
So I wish I had that a little bit better. And I thought this year when I went back, I was going to get it because with blue water and the rest of the sites in Mosul were full of anchovies. And then we showed up to Two Tree, and there was not one single anchovy.
Oh, really?
Oops.
Okay. Yeah, because when I saw the full action of anchovies close to the reef, and we had the mobiles coming in. First, I saw the cloud of anchovies, and I just swim off. I went to do some coral shoots, and then I came back, and it's like, oh, there are mobiles here, but actually they came in a little bit late, and it was like
they come in a little bit later, I think.
Darkening and things. But then when we went back there, the anchovies were not that close anymore, but they were offshore. Mm-hmm. So you could see all the birds action a little bit offshore, like bait balls, something happening there, and probably when you start to get I think are the amberjacks that they really bring them together in clouds.
The golden trevellis with the spots on them.
Exactly, yes. They get them together in clouds, and then they go to seek refugees close to the reef, and it's when we can enjoy that, right? Yeah. Fantastic, sure.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I think it's one of the few places where I think you get the mobulas coming through with anchovies. In Mexico, you get the mobulas, but it's just mobulas.
Yeah.
There's like 1 million of them. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, to get that sort of hunting action is crazy.
Yeah, just the whole dance, watching them come in and out. It's amazing.
Oh, it's nuts. Yes. So yeah, I guess that's just wishing I had not a stone on my sensor.
But that's what is going to keep you here for a few more years. Do it again with a clean sensor. I used to have like a little bit of a curse on Blue Magic that every time I go and I get a very good manta, oceanic manta action, I might have like a little ants going through my lens on the front, you know, like, or a little spot on my sensor. I was like, no, come on.
Yeah, and then like when you upgrade cameras and stuff, you want to have it like, okay, I want everything that I had before now in 4K or with new strobes. Something.
The amount of stuff I have on just standard definition video, I'm like, oh, I really wish I had that in in high def.
Yeah.
So what about the hammerheads in the Banda?
Hammerheads, I got lucky with them once. I mean, I've seen individuals. That's a sore subject, Mike, actually.
Okay, so oops. Let's reverse on that.
No, I had them one time, so I feel lucky to have seen them. We had them in really off-season, but...
also because Mermaid used to, I don't know if they do still, but move in to Rajampat a little bit later into the season, right?
Yeah, I think... I don't know if I'm totally sold on the whole hammer thing. I'm sure there'd be a lot of the whole hammer season thing, because I think a lot of the boats go earlier, September, October. So I think there's more boats in the Bandas in the area where the hammers are.
Gotcha.
So there's more likeliness, like
the more eyes.
There's more eyes on the water, and like Mermaid 1 was at one of the sites with a couple other boats a couple years ago, where all the hammers were. The 2 boats jumped first, didn't see anything. Mermaid 1 jumped, had schooling.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if
that's the ocean.
It's the ocean. So I don't really know if it's a whole seasonal thing. I don't know if there's proof out there, but it's my own theory.
Yeah.
The best way is to go there and camp.
Yeah, just
one
camp
side,
on one of those little islands.
4 dives all day.
Yeah.
Then do the next.
Because we had our big school off season in May, and it's just full on. I've heard other boats having them too, but yeah. So I would have liked to have more hammerhead experiences, and this year the one crossing I couldn't do. They had on just about every single dive with whale sharks. They even had a tiger shark. At Coon, so I was
so that
I was hurting.
Yeah, the one time.
I mean, I was pretty happy with planting my garden and growing basil, but I would have liked to seen a tiger shark.
What about with Manta? I mean, with Manta Alley with Komodo. I mean, you've got some of the best footage I've seen there, and like me being jealous, going, oh. Look at the video that he's showing at the beginning of the trip. I'm like, or your best of video. I'm like, I've never seen it like that. So, I mean, Komodo stuff, you've had some amazing stuff.
Komodo's it's one of my favorites for those rare, weird encounters. I guess we had the Mola Mola and Raja, but I don't know. I think there's more. action, I guess, in Komodo, and just with Manta Alley alone it's my favorite dive site. It's my favorite manta site for sure. It's beautiful. Not many boats down there. Not many people know about it. But then you have all the different interactions. So, and the nice thing was, as the videographer, I could kind of with the guests. It's easier just to take them to the cleaning station. Whereas if there's not a whole lot going on in the cleaning station, I can shoot over into the alley, check out there. I can shoot over to the other side where they might be feeding in the morning.
Yep.
Or I'd take up the drone in the morning too and just sort of scope out what they're doing, what the behavior is. But yeah, I mean, I also probably did in the last few years a lot more dives there than you guys would run your trips.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
might spend 4 or 5 trips there a year, but I would do it every day, every week. Like every Thursday we were at Manta Alley. And I think it's just more exposure.
Yeah, no, for sure,
But
for sure.
yeah, that site is incredible.
said,
When you have the
the
action going,
job,
it's crazy.
The best job. You
Yeah.
get to go in.
4
You get to go
encounters,
there
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, that was super cool. Yeah, like when you
So
live
after all these many years that you've been on the boat doing both location Raja and Komodo, would you define yourself more like a Komodo or Raja kind of guy?
Raja's like idyllic. It's exactly how you want to see the ocean. It's how you imagine the ocean when you go diving, just full of coral, full of fish. It's stunning. And most of my best photos come from there. Anytime I'm like looking for photos for like a competition or something like that, I just go through my Raja catalog. But Komodo has more of like that raw sort of action, I guess. And because it's a smaller area, you go from one dive on a pinnacle, one drift dive, and then you go to a crazy muck dive, all in one day. So I really enjoyed that as a photographer, because it's not just in Raja, it's kind of reef and schooling fish, reef and schooling fish, reef and schooling fish, and each one of those reefs is going to be one of the best in the world. But I like that. Macro one, wide angle 9, one angle 1, schooling fish, another one.
Everybody was a little bit surprised that this year I went a month in Raja Ampat, and I
went where?
never put the macro lens on.
Yeah. I know, there's only a couple sites where you get that really kind of crittery sort of.
Yeah. True. Not like in Komodo. In Komodo, I would put it daily.
Yeah, it has that critter action that is really good for critters. So I enjoyed that.
But Raja also has the advantage of being 29 degrees.
That is awesome. At the end of Komodo season, I'm always definitely looking forward to that
Yeah.
warm
Come
water.
on, you sissy. A little bit of cold does some well in you.
No.
It's bad. The end of the season is brutal. My wetsuit's thinner. Yeah, Raja's nice for the temperature.
Rash guard and a pair of shorts. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I can stay here all year long.
And yeah, Raja's great. It has the mangroves, it has the jetties, which are also really sort of iconic dive sites that you can't find everywhere else in the world. So I love the mangroves. It's my favorite.
Okay, you've done 5 years on the boat, getting hours and hours of footage every year. When was it that you actually kind of decided, all right, I'm going to get more serious about this stuff and get a better camera and, build a library? Did you start doing that right away? You're like, oh, I think I can get some really good stuff. Or did you see, was it, okay, after the first year, like, oh, I actually want to get serious about the photo thing?
Yeah. I always say that like photography is more of like my passion. It's not, I guess, what makes me money, but it's sort of, it's what I prefer to do. If I had a choice between doing video or photo underwater, I'd do photo. Mm-hmm. But I do love video at the same time. I like editing it and putting it together with music, the emotion, I guess, you can create with the combination of cuts. And that's cool.
What would you think requires more of your time?
Video,
right?
Yeah.
In post, like the post-production of
post-production
video is tedious.
Super tedious, especially now with 4K, and my computer's a little bit slow, so I can't edit the 4K footage. I have to downsample it, and it takes forever.
Yeah, all the fun stuff. What about how good have you been? I mean, I get lazy myself, but breaking down all your best footage. So you've just done a season in Raja Ampat, and you can say, all right, each week when I'm editing these videos, you've pulled out your best stuff and you've put them aside, or you're just kind of making a video. Oh, I remember I had a footage of something. Are you actually good at creating a catalog in a library?
Yeah, I have it organized sort of. Before I used to have it by sort of species or something, so like schooling fish or reefscapes or macro and froggies and that sort of thing. But now I have it more just per dive site.
Okay.
I remember it better if it's from a specific dive site.
So you throw away, all the the lousy footage that you took during a dive and keep all the good stuff?
Keep all the good stuff. The things I don't really sell footage. It's more just for personal use, I guess.
That was going to be my next question. What are you doing with all that huge library you've got now?
Nothing. Like I've tried to do the whole stock footage thing, but it's not that. Before I had really slow internet, like it is here in Bali, and so to upload it to Shutterstock or one of the other stock agencies, it took forever. And then the keywords, and so I did a sample once and made like $15 in 6 months, and I was like, this is not going to be a career opportunity for me.
Yeah.
Every now and then someone approaches me, especially with the I got some whale footage a while ago, and that's been something that people approach me about. But that's just because I put it on YouTube. The Omuras,
yeah, you got some great footage over there.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was just one year for about 2 months. The whales were this rare Omuras whale was around, and
where was it, down in Misul or
everywhere? Misul, Penimu, Dampier.
Is that the one, your aerial footage where the whale comes up and
it's
comes to the surface, right? And goes?
Yeah, and
that's an amazing shot.
Yeah, it was crazy, and it wasn't just once, and it happened that whole, from the beginning of the season to the end. In the beginning, it was almost every dive site you could show up. Okay, where are the whales? And you look around, and you see them, and that was really cool. And so that's some footage that I've been selling, and
just aerial rather than underwater. Yeah,
I don't think I've sold any underwater, but. No, I've kind of gone in the route where I would rather have like a steady salary than try to do the stock footage thing, and so that's worked out for me.
And how were you organizing your day? Because you said like, okay, pictures is your passion, and you got some awards in photography. Yeah. So how was like your normal day? You would shoot video, one dive, a photo the other. How did you organize yourself?
In the beginning, that's what I would do. I'd be like, I'm gonna do photos this dive. I'd ask the guides because I didn't know the area very well, and I'd be like, okay, do photo this dive, video next dive, blah blah blah. But then I got tired of missing things. There's certain things in video that might work better than photo. Like a manta a little bit further away is a nice. You can film it a little bit easier because the movement of the manta. Whereas if you're taking photos of a manta, you need it quite close for the lights and everything to work. So yeah, now and then I just kind of taught myself to switch back and forth between video and photo on the same dive.
Okay.
It was it hurt. I got a headache in the beginning.
Yes.
The different exposures and everything, and the mind. I guess the movements for video, and then the static shots for photo. But eventually, muscle memory sort of kicked in.
Exactly. Repetition is your best friend.
This is what you guys do too, no?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Switch back and forth.
Well, I try on this last trip. I was choosing one dive out of the day in which I would shoot pictures, and then the other ones do video, like that. It worked well for the first 2 trips, and then and then because like not being there like the whole time to going through all the settings and changing and things.
Yeah, I think just figuring out, wrapping your head around the exposures that you need for photos and then the exposures you need for video, that was the tricky part. But now I've kind of, I guess it's more of a routine now.
It was the nice thing with being the photo video guy on the Mermaid is you're not also a dive guide, so you can do your own thing, which is very nice.
It's great because you have a little bit of work time and then you have a little bit of creative time, and then you.
But you have at least a couple of days of pure intensity when you have to put together that video.
Yeah, and the last night.
Yeah, and then you get distractions and people around telling you like, hey, by the way, how is the video coming out? Like,
well, now that you're on land, are you going to, you just said you'd rather have a full-time job or whatever, but are you going to try and do more with your stock library now that you actually have a decent internet connection? Or are you going to, like a photo-wise or video-wise or anything?
No,
not really in the plans.
Not really in the plans. No.
Okay.
I don't know. My wife. I don't know what you guys are using for Wi-Fi, but my Wi-Fi it downloads fast, but it uploads at like 1 megabyte an hour or something like that. So uploading is.
Let us tell you about CBN.
Okay. That's good. It's same upload and download.
Okay. Yeah.
Much faster.
I'll have to get that contract for you guys.
We'll put that in the description.
No, then everybody goes on it and we start to have slow internet again.
I'm on IndyHome.
Yes. No, doesn't do it.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, what are you doing now then? You are off the boats now, what, about 6 months, I guess?
I got off in June. Just before my birthday.
Yeah. So, okay. And
thanks.
You are now working as a marketing person for a travel company?
Yeah. So I'm doing a lot of for, I guess, mostly marketing purposes for a company called Dive Safari Asia out of England, which is kind of, it's interesting. My boss and the whole company is based in the UK, and then I'm here. And I guess my main purpose is to assist with the social media and that sort of thing, gather footage. And,
so you go through your library and come up with something.
Yeah, exactly.
Videos.
So I go on the trips. I help along with the trips and putting them together. And
how many terabytes have you got?
Oh man, I don't know. I have about 10 hard drives.
10 hard drives.
Yeah, with the backups and everything. So different by seasons. But yeah, so I'll be doing. It's still a lot in Indonesia. The tours and stuff we'll be doing. Like I go to Alor next week in Komodo, or in a couple of weeks I go to Alor in Komodo.
Nice.
Which is another place I've been wanting to spend. I go to Papua in a few months, and then I'm working on a trip to Mexico for snorkeling.
Nice.
Okay, so
a lot of the trips are going to be
this job will
too.
take you also to other destinations around the world. Nice.
Yeah, you went to Maldives recently as well.
Yeah, that wasn't for Dive Safari Asia. That was something separate. But yeah, so now a lot more traveling, which is great, and I get to go to all the places that I've kind of really been wanting to go to, and as much as I love Raja and Komodo, it's kind of want to see something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Tired of reef.
Yeah,
Cold
big
water.
fish.
Yeah, exactly.
Some action. Galapagos.
Yes. And yeah, and so
Martelo.
those are all on sort of the schedule pretty soon. And
so you will get to go to that side as well.
yeah, they're going to start. Part of their company is another side company called Snorkel Venture, and so they're going to do a lot of snorkel trips too, which is kind of cool. I love shallow reef. It's one of my favorites. Just the pelagics you can see. Like Mexico is great for snorkeling. You have whale sharks. You have loads of different sharks, whales, killer whales. And so yeah, that's something we're going to start putting together soon for the next couple of years.
Very interesting.
Cool. Yeah, it's cool.
And how did you get to know this company? They contacted you because they saw your footage on online, or?
Yeah, I guess Ben, the one of the owners, he had been following me on Facebook or social media and approached me.
Yeah. So social media works.
Yeah,
So
it does. Yeah,
if you're out there and you're a videographer, keep posting because you can get this chance. Sounds like you landed a dream job.
Yeah, for now, it seems it's pretty ideal. I get to live in Bali, and which worked really well for them because it's just a cheaper flight. I'm on location basically.
Yeah.
If they need me to go check out a resort or something like that in Bunaken, it's a 2-hour flight for me. Yeah, it's pretty. I can't imagine a more ideal situation, to be honest.
And you also been writing few articles. We saw some in Dive Photo Guide.
They've asked me to be one of their field editors, and which will work well with Dive Safari Asia because I get to go to the locations, and then which benefits. Let's cut that out.
We're not going to cut it out.
Which benefits Dive Photo Guide because they get just constant. I'm traveling a lot.
Yeah,
so
exactly. So you're still getting a lot of content. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to start trying to do more of that? Now you don't have a not a full time, but you're no longer on the boat all the time. So that gives you more time to actually do projects like that, like doing writing and travel writing and articles.
I guess so. Yeah. So I think in a lot of the places I'll be going to, so I'll be writing like a trip report sort of thing for Dive Safari Asia, but then that'll also be used for Dive Photo Guide for their readers, and so everybody sort of benefits. And, especially me.
Keeps you busy.
Yeah.
Now you've won a couple of awards. What, last year was a big one for you? You won a couple of different things.
He kept
this
winning every year. Like
there
is winning an awards over there.
Yeah, I won a few. I've been the last few years I've been competing. In the beginning I wasn't competing, but then once I started, I won one, and then I was like, maybe I can do this. And then one more comes, and so yeah, last year was a good one. I got third place for a couple photos, and one video in the deep Indonesia and our world.
Okay.
So that was a big one for me.
And recently
I got third in ocean art.
Yes, and it was the one with the lights in the reef.
Yeah, the crazy light one. Yeah.
Yes, and so Tell us about that shot because you've been working quite. You've been doing some thinking ahead. Took you a while, right?
Yeah, that was one of
So
my
what it takes to win an award for our audience?
That one was one of the more calculated shots where I was like, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna set it up like this, and I really thought about it a lot. It was just on a reef that you normally dive in the north of Komodo. It's a really beautiful reef. It's not crazy fishy, but the reef is actually surprised me, and I hadn't really been diving it because it's normally dived as a night dive. And I really like long exposure photography on land, like night skies and that sort of thing, the way the light absorbs. So I tried to sort of translate that into underwater, but the only way to do that is to bring some light down with you because there's just not enough ambient light really, even with a long exposure. So I had to pack along all the lights and everything and find the right place with the nice sort of composition, sandy bottom, mix of sand and coral for the tripod to go on because I needed to do a long exposure. But then, yeah, just lugging all the lights around.
How many lights to take that shot?
I think it's I think 8 lights in total. So I had a few different backlighting from the coral and one placed underneath the coral and then one sort of painting it, which is a little bit of a tricky thing, and just to make sure waiting for the light to sort of die down, but if you get it too dark, then it's going to be
What
too
time
black.
of day did you shoot it at?
I would jump in just before the sun would set.
Okay.
So for here, that was like maybe 6 o'clock I was jumping in.
Just before dark?
Just before dark, so I could swim around without any light and then find my spot.
Right.
I had one spot that I would always go back to. Finding that spot was troublesome. Sometimes I missed it. But yeah, I would just go back there. I did that for, I think, 4 weeks in a row.
Oh, okay.
Every Friday.
Before you got the actual shot you wanted?
Before I kind of was like, okay, this isn't too dark, so I need to bring out the foreground. So I was like, okay, I have to paint the reef a little bit with the light. And then, yeah, it took a while just to fine-tune everything. Like some backlights are too much and the exposure was too much.
It's the nice thing about having the ability to go back week after week. It's like, oh, I'm going to try that again. I'm going to try that again.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it. So I had my one spot and like, okay, I've got 4 weeks left on the boat. I got to get this before, and then you can plan it out a little bit.
So what was the actual shutter speed when you...
Like 20 second, 30 second
okay,
exposure.
so it was that long of a shot. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize it was that long.
It was kind of, I got the idea from Alex Mustard had a couple macro shots where and then he had one placed a light behind a sponge, and then that creates this really kind of cool effect. But he's super lucky with everything, and it's just everything works out really well for him, it seems. He had like a hunting jack, so it created like this ribbon.
Yeah, I remember that shot.
The light, which was really kind of like, what is going on there? So that's what I was hoping. I was hoping for some hunting fish, but I got the lights were quite nice.
Yeah, cool.
Not the action.
You got any contests coming up that you've entered that you're like, oh, I can't tell anybody? But are you still actively entering competitions this year?
Yep. Yeah, that same photo is just, I got a call back for...
Don't say the name.
Another competition.
There you go.
Recently. So we're hoping that one will do. I'm hoping that will do all right.
Cool.
But no, after that, oh yeah, and there's another competition I'm in as well. So I'm still competing.
Okay.
I just don't have as much content as before. I didn't kind of miss 6 months this year of shooting and a little bit.
And do you have a website where people can go and log in and see your pictures? And
yep, alexlindbloom.com. That's where people. That's my site. Yeah, kind of. I haven't updated it in a while, but it's there. Yeah,
we're gonna put it down in the description.
www. Yeah.
www.
So what's next? I mean, obviously we were just talking about some of these trips with Dive Safari Asia, but do you have any particular personal projects that you got coming up that you're going to say, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that? Or is it all mostly just work stuff related at the moment? Or?
It's all work stuff. My boss is really cool. He gives me quite a bit of flexibility and freedom to do my own projects. I just shot a Sea Life promo for the little point and shoot cameras. So I just did that last week in Bunaken. So now I have to put that together and produce that for Sea Life. But no, I'm really excited for the Mexico thing. I'm going down there in August, September. It turned out in the beginning it was just going down to see the great whites in Guadalupe.
Nice.
Which with my best friend. So that was really cool. But now
Oh, Monse is coming too.
No, not Monse. She cut that out. I love you, baby.
We won't tell her.
No, one of my good friends from Idaho is going with me to go see the great whites. But then Ben became really interested in Dive Safari Asia, became really interested in the whole Mexico side of things, and so I'm going to turn that into a work project now. So after the trip, we're going to go visit Cabo Pomo with the big. I'm hoping that giant school of jacks, bull sharks, hoping mobile rays.
Yeah. Yeah, bull sharks. So bull sharks also in Cancun, no? They have a good bull sharks dive.
Yeah. So Mexico is really crazy.
But it's not that famous. Is it famous?
I don't know.
It's not like
you
it's
never
not like
heard
Fiji
about
or anything.
No, I know the bull sharks for
But
Bahamas.
it's 100 feet, 30-meter visibility, clear water, deep.
I think so. Yeah.
It's quite deep.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite as big as like Fiji.
No, it's not. No.
It's the females coming in, and this is where they come into this part of Mexico to give birth.
Ah, okay, cool.
So they're not being fed. They're actually there on their own will.
You gonna go to the cenotes as well?
Yeah, so I think I'm hoping to do a few more days in the cenotes. That's last time I had the wrong port lens combination, and it's
Soft edges.
Soft edges, yeah. But and it's just the crazy light down there. It's really hard to get right on the first time. So now I have a lot more things I want to do there.
Cool
Environment.
Yeah, because it's one of these places where you look at it and say, "Oh wow, I'd love to get this shot, that shot." But until you've actually been there, and see what's available, then you go back. You've actually got an idea of what you want to do.
Exactly. It's super tricky lighting, like really high ISOs, and it's wild.
Cool. That's one of the places on my list.
Yeah, you gotta go, man.
Yeah, we got to find something similar to it here.
Yeah.
There is one. I remember Chris
in Timor.
He got something.
Somewhere near Kupang.
Yeah,
Okay.
clear caves and things.
Yeah,
We're going to keep that secret.
Yeah.
Yes. Not in Kupang.
Okay, stop. We have a guest.
So yeah, Mexico is high on my list, and that's my big sort of exciting thing.
Cool.
So you talk about something interesting there. So you had the wrong setup, wrong settings. Tell us about your biggest mess up underwater shot. That you had some great encounter and it didn't work out because you messed up something.
Yeah, Mexico with the very, very first dive with my new camera, the GH5. First time really, like I've seen a couple whale sharks here and there, but it's always fleeting and I'm never able to get a photo. And so this was in Mexico, just off the coast where you get the biggest, I think one of the largest congregation of whale sharks in the world, clear blue water, just hundreds of whale sharks. And I was spinning the dials on my camera to get it switching back and forth from video and photo. And so a couple of the times I meant to be filming in 4K, but then I switched to 1080, like interlaced or something. And then switching back to photo again, but I'd switched into like P mode. And so I was just like this whale shark swimming under me. That's a perfect sort of under you top down shot of a whale shark with the spots and everything. And yeah, I got it in JPEG.
Well, that's not too bad.
No, but
it's not like you had your lens cap on or something.
Yeah, no, I didn't have the lens cap on or anything, but the JPEG sort of like quite overexposed, not really difficult to work with later on.
Right.
Like, why can't I edit this? And he was like, oh, JPEG.
and as we are in here, like into this, like taking down the barriers and wall, tell me your biggest mess up, Mike.
Oh, mine was actually back on film days. I had an Iconos 5. We were in a little island off of Yap called Nulu, and we were coming out with the tender going towards the dive site, and we see some action on the reef. We're like, what's going on over there? Getting closer, looking, you can see this turtle flapping at the surface, thinking it's a turtle. Going, whoa, cool. 2 turtles mating. Get closer and get closer. Oh, no. It's a tiger shark attacking the turtle. No. We're like, whoa, stop the boat, stop the boat. So we stop the boat, turn the engines off, and the wind kind of pushes us a little bit closer to them. And all of a sudden, the tiger shark spooks, and it bolts and goes, bam, straight into the side of our boat. And I run to the back of the boat, and here's the tiger shark chewing on the outboard. So my camera was sitting there. I grabbed my camera, and I put it underwater, and I go click, choo, and don't have the strobes turned on or anything like that. And then I look at it, and I said it's an Iconos 5, and I had it on f/22. I'm like, no.
Ouch.
So I frantically try and turn the strobes on and change the f-stop. And by the time I did that, the tiger shark was gone. I was like, go. So that was, yeah.
Was that your first tiger
Developed the
shark
role
experience?
and, oh, yeah, look, black.
That's a Blackwater night dive.
That's
Yep.
Oh, that would be my second biggest one. Just
Yes.
doing a
Tell us
black
what was your hardest shoot ever.
That was a nightmare. Cool experience, but yeah, really, really tricky photography. And I got
Very.
nothing out of it.
It
Oh,
is
it's so
very,
frustrating.
very tricky. Yeah.
Very
You just
frustrating.
you were there when at Lembe when you were talking me up. And you're like, yeah, it's easy. Check out this one. You know, like this cool octopus and stuff. I was like, yeah, it's cool, man.
You
just
were
gotta
showing your octopus.
I was, you know, I had the SLR, not the mirrorless.
Yeah. So yeah, I imagine them just everything just sort of just floating right next to you, and you're like, okay, dunk. Okay, can you do this now? Dunk. Okay, can you put up a leg and dunk? It's not like that at
No,
all.
it's not like that.
They go up and down,
Come at
close
you.
and far,
Oh my God.
like yeah.
Oh, it's
And your
frustrating.
light and
That was-
the backscatter, super complicated.
Yeah.
I got so many out of focus too. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm just choosing the best.
And then it's night, and you are in the middle of the water column, so
drifting
like,
through a
your
channel.
buoyancy go down.
Waiting for a cargo ship to go over your head.
Your ears, the squeeze, like it's very tough dive, eh?
Yeah.
Blackwater night dive.
It was cool though.
Yes.
Definitely worth it and something I need
And
to
mind
do
it,
again.
we dive with strong current,
Yeah.
and deep and big animals and things, but Blackwater is
I would
tough.
never do one in Hawaii. Not a chance, man. There's
Yeah.
just
Really?
no, man. That would freak me out.
Freak you out.
Just there's
The great white.
Yeah.
great whites and there's so many big
Yeah.
sharks over there.
Yeah, but also here you never know what is in the middle of the ocean. You know,
At
I
night,
did one
yeah.
in
I'm
the middle of
more worried about the cargo ship. No,
Yeah.
no, not the shark.
that was also scary. Like in the middle of Ambon Bay,
Yeah.
and the current was pushing out towards the Banda Sea, and you're there like, okay, we are going, but how far are we going? I'm going to stay close to the line.
Yeah.
And there was like a buoy, and then there was like a boat line. So we had two lines with lights. One was just a buoy and was drifting faster than the boat itself because we had some wind. So the wind was pushing the boat back into the bay. So I had to swim to stay with the boat. I said, I stay with the boat. Everybody went with the buoy, and we separated by maybe 2 kilometers or so.
That far?
That's
Yeah,
pretty, yeah. That's
they were super far, you know, like, and I stick with the boat. The whole time.
Smart
And
move.
when the crew must have been seeing that there was a light down there, so they thought that everybody's there. Oh man! And then apparently there was somebody. I could see, you know, somebody flashing far off, you know, like that. And I thought it was the whole group, but no, it was just one person on his own, a little bit off, and I said, that's interesting.
that's terrifying. No thanks.
Oh, would you do Blackwater again? I mean, it's obviously frustrating, but
Yeah.
you want
I
to do
would,
it again.
yeah.
So what was the challenge that when you do it again, what would you do? What would you change?
I figured out that just doing sort of the back button manual, locking the focus,
Yeah.
and then just sort of moving your
In and
camera
out.
in and out. That's the way to go. At least with my camera. I don't know. I think.
No, that's what I was doing
Is that
as
what you're
well.
doing?
Yeah.
Simon was saying he was doing center point or single point.
Yeah. Simon is shooting a Canon, right?
D850.
No, D850.
Oh no, the DF. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
got
that's
pretty fast autofocus.
Pretty fast autofocus.
Yeah,
Mine
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
tell what was
Right,
what.
right.
Yeah,
With all
with
those
my
backscatter around.
D800, I do autofocus.
Yeah.
And it locks in, you know, with good spotlight, pretty
It's
much.
yeah. There's some cool. I would love to do it again. I think I just need bigger subjects.
We can set you up here in Bali. We can go up in Tulamben and
Yeah, we
yeah,
do
that's
it
what
up
we're
here,
talking
so maybe we can
We'll do
go
a,
there a day.
we won't drift offshore. We'll do a bonfire.
I want to do a bonfire.
Yeah, we'll do bonfire.
That's a good one.
I'm sure we can do that next week if you're around.
Yeah.
That's it. So,
All right.
guys, stay tuned. We're gonna all do a collab.
All right.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, appreciate it. It's been I've been wanting to stop by.
You see,
And,
Luca, anything to say?
No, it's well, I can say it again.
Luca, anything to add for the end here?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm very happy we're finally back. And sorry guys if you haven't seen any podcast in the recent weeks. We were all like busy shooting underwater because that's also what we're doing. And happy to be back, and let's do more of this. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah,
for
appreciate
coming
it.
in.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. If you haven't done so already, please have a look at the links below. We've got all the different things, Alex's websites and Dive Safari Asia website down there. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, please feel free to do so. And you can click on our Instagram or Facebook, as well as we'll link Alex's Instagram and Facebook down there in the links, or in the comment section below. So feel free to leave a comment and hit that like button. And until the next time, see you later.
Bye.